Well, that escalated quickly. I mean, it really got out of hand fast. One video, one Halo vs Warhammer 40k video, and the barrier of 1000 subscribers wasn't just breached, but smashed. And I cannot express how happy I am that so many people saw value in my work. I tip my hat to all of you, my dear viewers and listeners. It's truly a pleasure to pull out a bit of entertainment out of my hat for all of you to enjoy. This is a big step for the channel, and many more great things are before us. On the same note, I decided to create a public poll instead of making one on my Patreon, and I think I know what type of small videos I will be making for a while. I honestly thought that Mass Effect would win, but it seems that with one video I awoken the Halo horde, and now I will have to satisfy their hunger. I have few basic ideas for videos in this regard. Obvious would be expanding upon potential alliance or war with either of two major Halo factions, the Covenant and the UNSC, or just explore different war scenarios with Tau being involved. If you have any ideas or requests, put them in the comments. I make no guarantee that your idea will be turned into a video, but those that sound fun will be put to vote on my Patreon, where my supporters decide what video I will make next. If you have any questions, big or small, ask them below. I will either answer you directly or make a dedicated Q&A video. Now, you came here to watch The Ripper, the satirical Warhammer 40k story. So, let me give you a bit of a warning. I went off the deep end with this one. I took all my madness and insanity, purified it, condensed it, and transformed into this video. It will be a bit grimdark, there will be grim and insane humor, it will be a bit cringe, and it will be completely mad, and will turn you into a heretic. So, get ready, sit back, relax, get something to drink or a snack, and try to stay sane. Good luck and enjoy! The miserable Xeno was screaming, crying, begging, bleeding. They were tougher than they looked. The Tau. They were more resilient than he expected. Their bones were more fragile, and they lacked the strength of simple apes. But their endurance was far greater than mere monkeys. The mortals. Nick's heart jumped in joy as he removed the skin from the earth-cast face, a screaming, bleeding mass of flesh and bone, wriggling like a worm under his feet. He liked this color, deep blue, deeper than most of his species. It would go nicely with other pieces of skin he collected during this incursion. Joining Voidclaw Reapers turned out to be a great decision. Other warbands kept hunting humans. It was enjoyable, Nyx couldn't argue that, but after a few centuries it became monotonous. He knew how to skin an infant in 100 different ways. He knew how to shape human flesh and bone in every way imaginable, all in the name of spreading terror as far as possible. But after a few centuries, it became boring. The monotony of hunting the same prey again and again strained his patience. So he left his previous warband and joined the Void Claws. Not because he liked them, but because of what they were wearing. Not just skin of humans, but xenos of all kinds. Eldar, Loxatl, Krut, Tarelian, Jokero, and even Slith. They kept their prey diverse, finding new challenges and joys in spreading the terror and infamy of the Night Lords. The promise of new hunting grounds, of novelty, that was enough for him. Void Claws accepted him somewhat. This was their first hunt, the test of his skills, he was sure of that. Here on the edge of a Tau Empire, on this isolated colony, he shall gain recognition and trophies. He looked down at the slowly dying Tau. He took his face, but knife work wasn't perfect, or at least not satisfactory enough to Nyx's standards. The Tau was bleeding out faster than he wanted. A shame. Tell me where to find more prey, Xenos. He whispered with a note of glee in his voice. Tell me, and I shall give you a quick death. The Tau coughed, his red eyes locked on the visor of a Night Lord. There was intelligence there, understanding, and something else. Not that Nyx cared about the thoughts of a dying prey, and a Xeno above that. Tau raised a hand and pointed. There! He managed to cough out. Nyx followed his finger, seeing he was pointing at an impressive bluish dome, a symbol of a warrior caste of this pathetic species was painted on it. He chuckled. You think me a fool? Nyx asked, leaning closer, knife ready to cut. You think I don't know the symbols of your empire? It's a cadet school, Earthcast said through blood and pain. Night Lord's heart skipped a beat. Younglings of a warrior caste, they should be fun to play with. I see. He straightened up. Thank you, he whispered before crushing the miserable thing under his boot. Purplish blood stained his armor and ground in equal measure. He wasn't sure about the color of her blood, this mix of red and blue, this purple liquid. But beggars can't be choosers. He moved towards the dome, a wide grin hidden behind his helmet. His thirst for bloodshed remained unsated. So he made a decision. That dome shall become his gallery. There he will display his art. He will recreate creations of his Primarch, turn every surface of that building into a display of terror and pain. If he does it right, who knows? Maybe even one of the gods will take notice. He moved silently through the night. Distant explosions and firefights still raged, as meager defenders were trying to protect shelters where the majority of civilians managed to escape to. The Tau reacted quickly to their incursion. Very quickly. Quicker than any human planet where he hunted before. The Void class were currently throwing themselves at the defenders, trying to breach their lines and get to the safe houses full of weak playthings. He didn't care. Patience paid off, and now he had easy prey within his reach. He stalked towards the dome, looking around. Those Xenos had no taste in architecture. Their buildings were smooth, mostly round, no arches, few if any hard edges, so few places from which to hang mutilated bodies, so few places to hide in darkness, and to hunt. The damnable Xenos hid many generators deep underground. Well protected and hidden, they kept the majority of the city powered, despite Warband's best efforts to plunge them in darkness. For many, it would be disappointing, but Nick's mind went into overdrive, his creativity unleashed as he started to see with his mind's eye ways to fix those problems. Maybe the Tau themselves could be made into arches and bridges between buildings. It would be a lot of work, but it would be worth it. He could put them on the streetlights, making them shine through the bodies that were turned into ribbons. Maybe he could paint images on those lights, with blood and gore, so that they would cast terrifying shadows onto every surface of this clean little city. He almost burst out laughing as more and more solutions came to his mind, his creativity far greater than the majority of his kind, as was his depravity. His visions of slaughter were cut as he reached the main door. Round, unassuming thing, so plain and simple it was almost painful to look at. Those Tau had truly no sense of style at all. He will have to repaint the entire city with their blood and rebuild it with their flesh and bones to make them appreciate true art. He activated Power Claw on his left hand and made a wide strike. Alien alloy melted, revealing a lightly lit interior through the cooling wounds in metal. He chuckled to himself. This was no protection at all. Not from him. He made a few more swipes, finally destroying the door. With a quiet click, claws retracted, and Nyx ventured into the dark dome in total silence. Knife in hand, he stalked through the corridors, looking for clues. Where cadets would be hiding? Where were his new playthings? How many were there? What size? What color? He will have to use available resources properly to create his masterpiece. He noticed a movement and looked up. A camera. They were watching. He smiled. Good. The prey that knew that its death was coming was so much fun. He raised a finger to his helmet, making a shushing sound before throwing his knife faster than a human could blink, destroying the camera. He retrieved the knife and licked his lips. Now the challenge was more interesting. He could avoid cameras, let himself be seen here and there in random locations, unnerving his prey. A shiver ran down his spine. This would be fun. He continued to stalk the dome, seeking either prey or resistance, anything that could allow him to truly enjoy this moment. Yet, as minutes passed, nothing happened, and his irritation grew. Door after door broken, and no prey in sight. No indication where they were hiding. Where were they? Did they escape? Did that worm dare to lie to him? No, impossible. He could smell lies, and that Xeno told none. The prey was here, somewhere. He removed his helmet, smelling the air and listening in, allowing his enhanced senses to lead him, instead of a tortured spirit of a helmet taken from Blood Raven's head. It still resisted his will. He will break it. Sooner or... He blinked. He could hear it. Movement. Something was close. Very close. Inside the walls? His surprise turned into a vicious grin. Prey tries to be scary. He chuckled, activating his claws. Amusing. He cut the wall, expecting screams and blood. Yet nothing happened. There was nothing there. Did he start to lose it? Did demons play a trick on him? No, wait. There was something there. A small note made of parchment. Not just any parchment, but one used on prayer scrolls used by the slaves of a corpse emperor. It was human-made parchment. Not something he expected to see in a Tau city. He reached for the note, surprised to see words written in Gothic and in dialect of Nostramo, one used by the Night Lords to this day. He read the words and froze. Do you have a license for those balls? What? For the first time in his life, Nyx was truly confused. He looked around, his talons crackling with power, his knife stained with blood of Xenos, his bolt pistol silently humming on his hip. Yet, somehow, those tools of terror and death didn't make him any bit more confident. He looked back at the note, and then once again, all around. What kind of joke is this? He asked in a whisper, directing his words to empty space. To his surprise, someone answered. I don't hear laughter. He spun on his heel and fired his bolt pistol, weapon drawn faster than a heartbeat. A camera, one that he didn't notice before, exploded on impact. It wasn't there before. It had to be hidden before he found the note. Nyx clenched his jaw, furious at being mocked by a Tau of all things. He would make that joker pay. He will keep him alive for a long, long time. he will make the entire planet hear his screams. Clever, clever prey, Nick said, weighing his options. You like playing games, I see. Well, I would love to play a game. I will be the player, and you, my plaything. He purred with a wide grin. You still didn't answer my question, Gueron Shah. The voice sounded through the multiple speakers. Do you have license for those balls you got there? Are your balls approved by the ethereal caste? Nick's confusion grew. This wasn't how that was supposed to go. The prey usually acts scared or angry. Why he was being asked about his balls of all things? He was a Night Lord, for crying out loud. He was a master of terror, Lord of the Night. He was the nightmare that hid in the shadow, and this blue-skinned cow dared to mock him? I care not for your rules, miserable thing. He spat. Rules are meant to be broken. There was a moment of silence before the Tao spoke again, a note of disappointment in his voice. Shame. There was a strange sound then, as if someone was reloading their weapon. If that's the case, I'm very pleased to inform you that your balls will have to be confiscated, for the greater good. Suddenly, there was a loud noise, emergency doors closing, energy shields rising, locking Nyx inside the dome. He frowned but wasn't too alarmed. His power claw could cut even through walls if he had to. But the lockdown was confusing, especially since he was already inside. What kind of fool locks themselves in the same building as a Night Lord? Nyx started to laugh. You just signed your own death certificate, Tao. The only thing I signed was your sterilization papers. Tao sounded strangely excited. And I must express my gratitude. Nyx started to stalk the corridors again, trying to figure out where the Xeno was hiding. But he also couldn't stop himself from asking. Oh, and why is that? Night Lord spoke, both pills still raised. Are you so eager to die, little Xeno? No, though it was tough for some time. It's been so long since I had a chance to sterilize someone. Tao sounded downright cheery. My last 3 deployments were a total bust, I tell you. I hated every day I was there. First were the orcs, the greenskins. No balls. They might look as if they were male, but they are all genderless, even though they call each other boys. False advertisement, I will tell you that much. Then the Necrons. Again, no balls. They don't even pretend to have them, just damn smooth metal. Then Tyranids. I did remove a groin from a hive tyrant, but no balls in sight. You would think that they would have some, but no. 5 years of deployment and no balls in sight. None. I didn't get my ball remover license for that. Years of academy training wasted. I was down on my luck. But then you showed up. Super soldier or not, I'm sure you have some balls to come into my dome, knowing what will happen if you do. Nyx was slowly backing away, still looking around. His instinct told him that this situation wasn't ideal. Your dome? He asked, furrowing his brow. A nice lad whose face I removed with this knife told me this was dome for cadets. Did that miserable worm really lie to him? He told the truth. This is a dome for recruits, those who wish to join the breed, birth regulation and eradication enforcement department. Tao explained, strange sounds of movement coming from the speaker. They are currently watching you in the emergency study room, far below us. Night Lord's frown grew. This was turning out to be one of the most bizarre encounters in over 2 centuries of his life. I thought that the talk about Tao sterilizing people was imperial propaganda, he said out loud, still seeking his target. Or a way out. Oh no. Tao sounded more malicious now. No, it's very much real. Human population needs to be controlled, or soon we will outnumber the Tao. We can't have that. Nyx growled in frustration, looking around, still seeing nothing. What? Scared of mere mortals? Then he remembered something. Or are you afraid because Tao females prefer human men? He asked with a wide grin. To his surprise, a chuckle sounded through the comms, before the Tao answered. Not after we remove their balls, they don't. Tao sounded downright mad. What? Nyx suddenly felt very uncomfortable, like that one time he was invited to Emperor's Children party. He didn't go to those kind of parties anymore. You think I'm joking? Tao sounded angry now, erratic. We welcome you with open arms, give you jobs, housing, clean water, food, purpose, and you dare to take our woman? Oh no, you take our women, we take your balls! Nyx wasn't having fun anymore. Nyx wanted to leave this dome, like, right freaking now. He moved towards the exit, only to be met with a shimmering wall of light, a force field. Going somewhere? A whisper of a Tao came from behind him. He turned around, but there was nothing there. Oh no. You will help me with presentation for my students. Nothing. No Tao there, but the voice didn't come out from the speaker. Not this time. Now something else was emanating from numerous devices all over the dome. Why do I hear music? Nyx asked, starting to get really nervous now. Oh, I apologize. I like to set a mood when I'm working. Tao was somewhere close now, he was sure. Be a good human and put a bit of a fight, would you? My students need a good example for their future endeavors. A booming laughter came from all around. A shiver ran down Nick's spine as he realized something. He is in the walls. The Angel of Death was starting to panic. He's in the warp damn walls! He opened fire with his bolt pistol, blasting holes in the walls, roaring his fury and fear in equal measure. This wasn't right. This wasn't right at all. Wasn't he supposed to be the monster here? The Night Lord? The Master of Terror? His bolt pistol ran out of ammunition after a few seconds, and he steadied his breath, listening in. Hey, Night Bitch! Out of nowhere, a plasma bolt hit his pistol from the side, shattering it into pieces. He looked right and saw a fire warrior peeking out of a vent? And he was holding a plasma shotgun? You missed! Tao disappeared into the vent without a trace. Nick's emotions, a mix of fear and fury, overtook him completely. Damn you! Nick cursed, rushing to the vent, trying to catch the damnable thing. But he was gone. How? How could Tao move this quickly? Nick weighed his options again. His bolt pistol was gone. Power claws and knife was all he had left. It will have to be enough. You pathetic insect! Nick shouted, faking his own bravado. I will skin you alive! No answer came, and Nick started to think in overdrive how to get the hell out of here. He cut into the walls, finding them more sturdy than the doors he destroyed previously, and an energy field blocking his way was more resilient than he expected. Oh, it could be broken, he was sure. But it would take time. Too much time. Time he didn't have. Not that it stopped him from trying to escape. As he raised his claws to strike the shield again, a shimmering string of light wrapped around his arm. Before he could react, all his limbs were wrapped by shining lines of energy. He was flung back by immense force, slamming into the wall with the force of a hammer. Nyx groaned, spat, and cursed, looking around. Drones, but weird ones, equipped with some kind of device that shot the lines of light that kept him in place. He tried to move, but found that his very armor was working against him, resisting his movements. What witchery is this? Nyx screamed, looking around frantically. What? You don't like my restraining drones? Earth casts proven themselves again with them. A voice came from one of the corridors, but superhuman eyes of a Night Lord saw no one there. Who are you? Nyx struggled against the restraints. Show yourself! A tall fire warrior, clad in deep crimson with yellow highlights, stepped into the corridor. A pair of crimson lenses, piercing the Chaos Marine's very soul. He removed his helmet, attaching it to his hip as he moved towards Nyx. He was old for a Tau. Some of his hair was silver, and he had more than few wrinkles and scars on his face. Yet his eyes were still full of life and focus. Vizino smiled and spoke. Greetings. I am Chassel Zaan Chatan, ex-Monad Commando and Sterilization Officer of the Enforcement Department. I enforce protocols, train cadets, and ensure stability within the Tau Empire. Oh, and I also neuter self-entitled little vermin like yourself. The smile Tau had on his face was unnerving to say the least. But he was a Night Lord. He would mock him before he noticed what Tau was holding in his hand.
Is that a goddamn sickle?
Nyx screamed in terror. Tao looked down on his chosen tool with almost reverence. Ah yes, this is the tool of a sterilization officer, not messy and brutish like a chain blade your kind prefers. He looked down at it with almost fatherly love. An elegant tool from a more civilized age.
How can a sickle be considered civilized when it comes to sterilization?
Nyx was very scared. Tratan shrugged his shoulders as he started to get close. Now, let's prepare the operating area. To Nyx's dismay, Tao pulled out his second tool.
Is that a small thunderhammer? How in the name of the dark gods did you manage to get a hold of a miniature thunderhammer?
I dared Earthcast, saying that they wouldn't be able to make one. Tao seemed very pleased with himself as he raised it with his left hand. Now, stay still. I wouldn't want to crush your balls before cutting them off.
No.
Tao hit the armor protecting his groin first time, cracking the surface.
Wait.
Deaf to his words, Tao hit a second time, almost cracking the armor.
Just wait!
Nyx screamed before hammer fell for the third time, and the armor fell apart. Nightlord felt the chill, not only on his back. Ah, see? Was this so bad? Tratan pulled a hammer back onto his belt and took out his sickle. Now, let me take off some of that burden you got there.
No! Leave my balls alone! They're mine!
Nightlord pleaded. Town frowned before looking up at the Space Marine. You are in the Tau Empire now. Those aren't your balls anymore. His grip on the sickle tightened. Those balls belong to us now. And then, in the most humiliating and terrible moment of Nyx's life, his voice raised several octaves as the insane Tau did what he promised. Nightlord was panting, bleeding, weeping. He looked down into the smiling face of Tratan, who seemed very pleased with himself. Your balls will make a fine addition to our collection, he stated matter-of-factly, hiding his property into his backpack. Now, tell me more about this little warband that invaded my city. His insane grin made Nyx tremble. I have a feeling that they might need to learn similar lesson as you, and my students need some real-life experience before joining the department. Nyx was weeping as the insane Tau stepped onto a drone and rose to look him directly in the eyes. Eyes Nightlord avoided, trembling within his own armor. Tell me everything, my friend. There is no reason to remain silent. After all we have done and will do is for the greater good. Oh, I wanted to make something like this for a while now. No breaks. Total insanity, with no care whatsoever about anything. Those who are familiar with Warhammer 40k are aware of well over a decade-old misinformation that Tau sterilize human populations of conquered worlds. It's not true, and all sources that claim that it is are either extremely biased or don't provide any concrete evidence of that being true. And as dedicated Tau fan, I did the only thing I could. I embraced this falsehood and transformed it into this acid trip of a story. Now, every time someone talks about Tau sterilizing humans, send them this video. I hope they will appreciate the story of a ball ripper. I'm sure this wasn't exactly what most people would expect a 1k special to be, but I am the heretical hatter, and as a heretic, I do need to keep up my appearance. If you enjoyed this torrent of insanity and heresy that was this video, please like, comment, subscribe, and ring that bell. If you can, support me on Patreon, where you can get access to a lot of additional content. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed. Now, my dear viewers and listeners, remember, wherever you are, whatever you do, try to enjoy yourself while you can. I wish you most heretical day. Ta-ta!